What if I told you there was a correlation between 7M, Twitch's passing, and the end of Ellen DeGeneres? We'll strap up because...
How are you today? Jumping into the video. Now, I'm in Florida here, folks, and today an explosion actually was seen off the coast of Florida. I don't want to get too much into this, but I just want to bring it to your attention.
Paper, August 28, 1921. This is a copy of the actual insert. You see, electric vehicles are not the latest technology, they're how it all started. This is an electric car that could run for 1,000 miles in the 1920s.
This is what America's physical education system looked like in the 1960s. History isn't the only thing being erased. This was footage of one of those 4,000 schools pushed to be the model by JFK.
Welcome to Daily Rew, the wildest ride on YouTube where we react to the most outrageous, mind-blowing viral videos and crazy news stories from around the world. Prepare to lose your mind about what we've got cooking today. Remember, these videos are for entertainment purposes only.
Signs of our buried past in Ogden City, Utah. Many have told of buried undergrounds hidden in many cities in Utah. Here's just one of those discoveries coming from beautiful Ogden.
Back to there. It goes about to here. Okay. There's other pipes in there. Careful that pipe right there.
Yeah, right? Whoa. Did you see that?
Alex Gleason was a flat earther, and his map is not a globe projection. It's a geocentric flat plane featuring a small and local sun. This is the book he wrote, completely destroying the heliocentric model using real science, just in case you are in denial. Gleason made our 24-hour sun work perfectly on his map along with the solstices and tropics. He states very clearly that it's the sun that moves over our Earth, winding in and out of the tropics, creating the solstices. How can this be a globe projection for the heliocentric model when it's depicting a geocentric sun? You can't even make it make sense. Facts are facts, and the facts say this is a map of a geocentric plane made by a flat earther. Hence why it states that the new standard map of the world is scientifically and practically correct as it is. There's not one mention of a globe anywhere on the map because it's not a depiction of one. Follow and bind your mind and sub to my YouTube for more like this.
What the F?
The real cause of the Black Death was, we have all been taught over the years that the Black Death, which devastated Europe in the 14th century, was caused by fleas on rats. But new evidence has been found that makes many researchers believe that the Black Death might have actually been caused by extraterrestrial bacteria, a plague from space. In 1347, reports of unusual astronomical events were documented all across Europe. Comets, meteor showers, and other celestial phenomena. Even at the time, many people linked these events to the outbreaks, but it gets even stranger. When scientists examine the pattern of the spread of the Black Death, they notice it moved far too quickly to be explained by fleas on rats alone. Entire villages were wiped out overnight, suggesting an airborne pathogen. So here is where it gets dark. Recent studies have found traces of an unknown bacteria in the remains of the Black Death victims, and these traces do not match any known earthly pathogens. This suggests that the plague might have arrived on Earth via meteorites or comet dust, releasing deadly microbes as it burnt through the atmosphere. This begs the question, was this plague sent down by an extraterrestrial civilization?
No! Yeah, I'm amazed. God is kind of upset with me probably because I woke up and didn't say my prayers this morning, man, but I got woke up by this again in my face. What would you do? Look at this. Look at this. Look at that ball of light coming out of there. That's the sun.
What the F?
Coming out of what, though? Man, California ain't talking nothing about this. That's why I feel like I'm in a land of weirdos.
And that is far from the only example of the second suns being sighted. It seems like they are being spotted more and more with frequent regularity in the last couple years. But I think it's a sign of this cycle of our realm, as depicted in ancient times in petroglyphs in India, Arizona, and even excerpts from the sightings of it in the 1600s. And even after that, many newspapers historically reference this second sun, sometimes even more being sighted in the skies. Some say it's Nibiru, some say we're living in a binary system. Whatever it is, I think it shows once again, history most certainly repeats itself. Question everything, friends.
What do you think? Smash the like and drop a comment below.
They used fluorescent lighting to stop kids from having ADHD tendencies.
90 days after, the regular cool white fluorescent tubes were replaced with the new type full spectrum fluorescent tubes with radiation.
They ran this experiment on a group of kids where they tested to see what was the actual cause of ADHD, but they didn't want to find out really the cause, but how to change it or stop it. So what they did is that they changed the lights inside the actual room and replaced it with fluorescent lighting, and turns out that light stopped the kids from having ADHD.
There was a marked improvement noted, and the extremely hyperactive boy has voluntarily moved up to the front row.
artificial lighting
You've got to
has
be kidding
an
me.
actual effect. Like, bro, these are artificial lights right now. It has an actual effect on your behavior. There's this theory. You ever drove past the projects and they have that one NYPD fucking light? Yeah. Apparently that light is there to like mitigate crazy activity. Now I don't know how true that is, but usually like in the very poor areas in the projects, like in Brooklyn and shit, like Canarsie and shit, they be having a bunch of those.
What if I told you there was a correlation between 7M, Twitch's passing, and the end of Ellen DeGeneres? Well, strap up because I'm about to blow your minds. So everyone's talking about the new documentary on Netflix, Dancing for the Devil. Well, this documentary is way deeper than you think. Now, it all starts with this man, Robert Shin. Robert Shin is the owner of the talent management company, also known as 7M Films. He is also the owner of the Shekinah Church. Now, the Shekinah Church does not have a good reputation. They've had tons of lawsuits ranging from human trafficking to breaking labor laws and so on. But Mr. Shin here thought he could make some big money in the media industry, so he created 7M. And boy, has he made some money. Not only have they appeared on the Ellen DeGeneres show multiple times, they also did a halftime show, worked with Dr. Dre, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, 50 Cent, Kendrick Lamar, Snoop Dogg, you name it, they probably worked with them. Enters this couple. Now, this is James and Miranda Derrick, okay? The documentary was mostly about Miranda, but James plays a huge role. James runs 7M. So remember how I said they collabed with a lot of famous artists? Well, they also collabed with Twitch and his wife, Allison. Now, as we all know, Twitch's passing was kind of mysterious. But let's take a look at the date. It happened on December 13th, 2022. Now, one of the first collabs video he did with 7M was in January 28th of 2022. So a year later, he was gone. So interesting enough, to be associated with the Shekinah Church or its entities, you have to sign an agreement. So according to the testimonies of ex-members and the recordings of Robert Shin, the church encourages members to, end quote, die to themselves, end quote, and to their families. Now, what I'm wondering is, did Twitch sign that agreement? Now, again, let's look at the date. Twitch tragically passed away December 13th, 2022. Well, guess whose show was canceled 5 months later? Ellen DeGeneres on May 26, 2022. The fact that Twitch, his wife, Ellen, 7M were all so closely related and this all happened is just crazy to me. It also makes a lot of sense why Ellen's been hiding out and no one's heard a word from her until like her upcoming comedy tour all of a sudden. But don't worry, 7M is alive and well. It's still running and they're still posting to this day. And all that money's just getting filtered right into this man's pockets.
Totally insane.
This car harnessed electricity from the environment in 1921 using an atmospheric generator made using only iron wires and minerals. It was invented by C.E. Ammon, you can see on the left, and his brother on the right. This was the article featured in the Arizona Republican paper August 28, 1921. This is a copy of the actual insert. You see, electric vehicles are not the latest technology, they're how it all started. This is an electric car that could run for 1,000 miles in the 1920s. You're being drip-fed technology that's inadequate in comparison to the efficiency of these old vehicles. In case you're still skeptical about the legitimacy of this, I'm going to show you more articles from the 1920s about electric cars. And for the die-hard skeptics, I've got actual photos of electric vehicles being charged in the 1920s if you watch until the end.
Follow and bind your mind for more content like this.
You've got to be kidding me.
Okay, today I'm going to be replacing one of the commercial capacitors on the magnifying transmitter with a saltwater capacitor. So here's the capacitor I will be replacing. It exploded yesterday. So each of these 14 nanofarad commercial capacitors are rated to handle 20,000 volts AC. So this transformer is only putting in 7,200 volts to the tank circuit, and these capacitors are rated at 20,000 volts AC. So the reason that capacitor exploded was because the tank circuit was resonating. So this is the bucket I will be making the capacitor in. I will be using these Topo Chico bottles to make the capacitor. So since this will be a temporary capacitor until I can order another commercial capacitor, I'm not going to be filling these bottles with salt water because the mineral water that's already in the bottles will act as the electrolyte in the capacitors. Now I'm going to drive a nail through the top of each of these bottles. Okay, I have driven the nails into the bottles. Now I will put the bottles into that bucket. Okay, I have placed all the bottles into the bucket. Now I will get a wire and I will wire all the nails together. Okay, I have connected all the nails together with wire. Now I'm going to fill the bucket with salt water. Okay, I have replaced the commercial capacitor that exploded with my saltwater capacitor. Now I'm going to test the capacitance on the right side of the primary circuit. I will be using this inductance capacitance meter. Okay, I tested the capacitance and I had 84 nanofarads. That's perfect. Now I will test the magnifying transmitter with the new capacitor connected. Okay, the magnifying transmitter is now back in working order. So for those of y'all who are building receiving coils to receive my electricity, I will be attempting to run the magnifying transmitter every day at 12 p.m. and 8 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Sometimes I will run it more though because I have to work on it sometimes. So I recommend experimenting with the connections on the receiving coil. At first you should only try to light a 3 volt 20 milliamp LED light bulb on the receiving coil. And if that works, you can move on to bigger things.
Are these real or not? What do you think?
The pneumatic tube system is just one example. Aside from the tiny little tubes we have today at the bank, the old world had something much larger. Complete pneumatic transportation systems. Now they say it was only just a concept, aside from the numerous images of it used all over the world. Here's some of the photos of said construction of the concept. Notice how old and weathered all those brick tunnels look already. People standing around posing in suits. That was the story given when it was rediscovered in New York several years ago. Here's a photo of those just bricked off tunnels. But they had a tunnel system in London as well. Think of the tube, as it's called today. Also a pneumatic transportation system. And the mail service used it in various different ways. Here you see it transporting a child.
What
Many
the
relics
F?
of these were dug up with pictures of children. No surprise, you could mail children via the postal service. But of course, all that technology had to get unearthed and rediscovered. I believe personally, this system is still in use today by the world elites, or the parasites as I like to call them. Used in all sorts of nefarious ways, one can only imagine. Just think, with horse and buggy, no heavy equipment, they were building these tunnels, meters under major cities, and then just promptly abandoning the project and forgetting about it is quite laughable. One technology I still think they have hidden on the shelf. Question everything, friends. Until next time. This is the construction of the Brooklyn Bridge in 1881. This is Grand Central Station in 1900. Here is the construction of Fenway Park in Boston in 1914. Here's Boston in the year 1900. And here's Detroit in 1888. And all of this amazing infrastructure was built before there was a federal income tax, which didn't exist the first 137 years America was a country. So how did the government raise money before 1913? Tariffs. We taxed goods that came in from other countries. So if China wanted to sell to American markets, they had to pay for American roads. But in 1913, a small group of powerful bankers sold Americans on the Federal Reserve Bank and the 16th Amendment. Now they didn't need tariffs because they could tax you. So they started selling Americans on free trade, which is extremely profitable for international banks and corporations. And they told us that the costs of goods and services will go down. They left out that the Fed's endless printing of money would destroy the value of your dollar, and that free trade would destroy American manufacturing and cost you your jobs. And this is why I write books on the corruption of the money system, the food system, how information is controlled, the trap of free, and so much more. Because if we want to give the next generation a fighting chance, we have to teach them the truth. ClassicalLearner.com.
What do you think? Smash the like and drop a comment below.
How are you today? Jumping into the video. Now, I'm in Florida here, folks, and today an explosion actually was seen off the coast of Florida. I don't want to get too much into this, but I just want to bring it to your attention. It's pretty much all over the news. Everyone knows that Russia is in Cuba. And also, you can actually see their Russian Navy off the coast of Melbourne. I know this because I know people in Melbourne that actually can see these ships. So it's for real. But today, explosion actually were seen off the coast of Florida. I think it's a drill. I don't think they fire anything towards the US. It's a drill that they're doing, and within that drill, they were firing missiles. So I don't know where they went. I know they didn't hit the US soil because it will be all over the news. So I'm guessing they were shooting hypersonic missile, which they have. They have hypersonic missile that can actually hit Miami in under 2 minutes from where they're at. But they probably dropped the missile in the water. It's probably one of the safest places to drop the missile if you don't want to hurt anyone. But explosion actually was seen off the coast of Florida. So it's an interesting week, and it's not something I like talking about, but you can't really ignore that. I mean, at this point, they're 90 miles away from Melbourne, Russian Navy, where you can actually stay at the shoreline and actually see it. This is how close they are to Florida. So,
wow. You can't make this ish up.
This is what America's physical education system looked like in the 1960s. History isn't the only thing being erased. This was footage of one of those 4,000 schools pushed to be the model by JFK.
Stan Laprati, Physical Education Director at La Sierra High School, has developed a program that assures every student of physical excellence. Exercise on the grip swing puts muscles on the least athletic. Extension push-ups are among the toughest of the drills. As an incentive to excel, the color of the shorts the boys wear is determined by their ratings on performance charts. Some requirements for top ratings are stricter than for Annapolis plebes. A lad who has mastered the pegboard will find a military obstacle course a snap. 200 schools across the country have adopted La Sierra's program of 15-minute daily competitive exercise. On a hot day, they wet down the wrestling mats for sliding. The boys at La Sierra are learning that it's not only good sense to get toughened up, it's fun.
Well, that's it for today, folks. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment with suggestions of what you would like and videos you would like to see. Until next time.